How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Dead Air, a DayZ talk show. I am Wesley, drumsetjunky Hollingsworth. Welcome to the show, and of course, joining me is the ever so intelligent and striking and lovely Jamie from DayZ Intel. How are you, sir?
Hi everyone.
Real quick, just a quick intro on what Dead Air is. Dead Air is just like it says, it's a DayZ talk show where we're gonna go over everything from patch notes to things that we're seeing on servers to new mods. Mostly, we're gonna be talking a lot about DayZ standalone, as that's what I think everybody's most excited about. Um, so yeah, and I am joined with Jamie. Jamie, give us a little bit of background about who you are and kind of how you got involved in this lovely new pet project of ours.
Yeah, sure. My name's Jamie. I'm from Glasgow in Scotland. I run the website daisyintel.com. You may have heard of it. If you've ever Googled anything DayZ, you may have came across the site. We pretty much cover everything DayZ, from all the mods to standalone news, patch notes, devlogs. We have a section for weapons, items, streamers. We've got a big section for our streamer partners, uh, Twitch TV stuff, everything. We've pretty much got it all. So
Good deal.
that's
Um,
DayZ Intel.
and of course, for those of you who maybe you don't normally watch my channel, I am a drumsetjunky. I stream mostly DayZ standalone and other DayZ related games. And from the mod all the way to standalone. I do other nerdy things on my channel, and of course you can find me at twitch.tv/drumsetjunky or youtube.com/drumsetjunky. Um, let's just go straight into it. Let's start talking about DayZ. This is a very exciting time, I think, for DayZ as a whole. We've got monthly patches that are coming out. The game is definitely in its full swing of development. It's out there where people can play it and give feedback to the developers, so it's very exciting. This is a great opportunity for the community, for people like us. I guess you could call us the pundits, to be able to have input on the game. So let's talk about that real quick. They just released some experimental patches, some extended experimental patch notes. Let's talk about some of that stuff. Um, Now, as far as just I guess they just updated them on the 25th of February with some new things, as they just put out a new devlog. Um, what are your thoughts on the upcoming patch notes for February?
Do you want to talk about the devlog or the experiment, the patch notes that are live right now as it stands?
I guess let's go ahead and talk about the patch notes. Really, we'll go through the patch notes and then we'll talk about the devlog, because I think the devlog kind of highlights some stuff that we already know. Like the devlog
Yeah,
kind of highlights some things that are already in the patch notes to begin with, but the devlog is kind of things that are coming up. So
yeah, cool. Okay, so the patch notes experimental patch was launched last week, and they've just updated the patch notes with a second bunch of updates this week. Uh, kind of, I would say one of the biggest things for me this week's experimental patch notes would be the new the new um, buildings. So
mhm.
the new police stations and medical stations, which you can pretty much find throughout Cherner's now. Uh, so the new police stations, you can find a lot of new weapons, or a lot of weapons, weapon spawns, ammunition spawns. Expect that sort of stuff
Mhm.
all throughout Cherner's, I think, and the new medical buildings. Pretty much medical loot for everyone. So you no longer have to worry about finding a hospital to find your specific medical loot. It's going to be medical stations and hospitals, as well as residential loot. Uh,
Yeah. I'm showing it up on the recording now on stream, and you can kind of see. I believe this is a police building that they show. that you have taken or have a picture of here on the DayZ Intel patch notes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we have police and medical stations, like you mentioned. It's going to be a lot. I think it's going to be easier to find some of the basic, weapons and some of the basic medical gear. Um, and I think that'll make hospitals maybe a little bit more. I don't know. You actually may still want to go to a hospital because I think what they might do with this is you have these medical stations that have more basic, the better kind of bandages and some alcohol as an antiseptic and things like that. And then you may find some more. It would be interesting to see if they make the hospitals have, I guess, a higher tier of medical gear that you could get. So that'd be interesting to see. And of course, you do have the police station, which is I believe what is pictured here, which would be kind of cool. It seems to have some kind of a tower up top, which will be interesting to be able to get into and take a look around Cherno and the various cities that you find those in. Now we were talking beforehand about I guess our favorite things in the excuse me, our favorite things in the patch, and I think that was what you were saying was your most favorite things.
Yeah, these new buildings I think are going to help freshen things up. Definitely. The especially in towns like Chernogorsk where everyone is kind of used to where everything is already placed, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's a new police station right in between the office building and the kind of big wrecked hotel. So it's gonna help make things a bit fresh and just kind of change things up a bit in these major towns.
Okay. I think my favorite thing of this new patch was weather. Weather is now going to be quote calculated. It's going to be done by the server rather than each individual client, which is really going to make it a lot easier for weather to be kind of a blanket. Have a blanket effect across the entire server. If it's raining across the entire server, or if it's raining in a specific city, then that's going to have effects on visibility and things like that for every player. I think in the mod in particular, it was really bad sometimes about, it'd be raining on, if you had weather effects active on a server, it'd be raining on one person's server or on one person's client, not on the other.
Yeah.
Um, or it'd be foggy on one server or on one person's client and not on the other. So uh, I'm really looking forward to that. I think it is going to have an effect. I know that they're going to be adding a wet condition, wet from the rain, so your clothes will be damp, and that'll have some effects probably on your health, maybe even on your aiming and things like that. So those are all very interesting things to be looking forward to. A couple of other things in the updated patch notes that they released here on the 25th. Um, Throwing physics are currently disabled. That's something we'll get into. We'll talk a little bit about whenever we start talking about the devlog. Gestures don't currently work from two-handed melee, and cannot conduct melee attack from lowered melee stance. So yeah, interesting things. They added a bunch of in the older patch notes. They added a bunch of new melee animations for two-handed weapons, like right-handed poses, moves, attacks for axes, and things like that. That's gonna be cool. Um, Nothing too major. They added a farming hoe.
The farming hole looks cool. I'll be interested to see how that stacks up against the other melee weapons. Chances are it's probably going to be pretty shit.
We were talking about how the machete before the show. We were talking about how the machete is just complete shit, even though it looks like it should be cool and it should do a lot of damage, but for some reason it just doesn't. So
Nah.
maybe later on we'll see a little bit better balance when it comes to the the melee weapons. I know that one of the things we also about was the kind of like we and this is one thing I think we said that we didn't like about how the fireman's axe was actually just like a one hit on a zombie. I actually, as easy as it is, and as convenient as it is, I actually don't like it. Unless you're getting a headshot, I feel like everything should take a couple of whacks on a zombie. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts on that?
Definitely, man. The fireman's axe is it's overpowered right now. As well as I mean, the splitting axe is verging on overpowered, but no, there's no axe in existence that should be able to take out a zombie in one hit. Unless you take off its head, zombies should still be coming at you. So I definitely think there's a lot of work to be done with the melee balancing. And I know the development team and Rocket specifically are well aware of that. So uh, I would like to see melee weapons properly balanced. Uh, Maybe Fireman's Axe doesn't one hit a zombie, but every hit possibly makes it slower, makes it less of a threat. But
Right,
uh, just a one hit to the head and then zombie down is just it's just a bit. It just makes the zombies. It just makes them really underpowered,
right.
like no threat at all.
Well, I
And
don't
the
necessarily have a problem with like a one hit to the head.
yeah,
I feel
well,
like if you hit it to the head with just about anything, I feel like something should happen
I guess
with an axe. I mean,
yeah,
but like for instance, you can just hit a zombie in a chest with a fireman's axe and it's done. Out for the
yeah.
count. Um, a couple of other things that they that are in the patch notes. I had it. I was looking straight at it, and now I can't see it. M4 attachment, green variants. Nothing too fancy there, but still interesting. Um, this is pretty interesting, and for some reason, whenever we were first talking about the patch notes, we actually skipped over this. I think simple respawn mechanic implemented for zombies, pending a more robust method. So zombies now will respawn, which is I think been a problem. You'd have like players play on a server for an hour or 20 minutes, and all of the major areas that have zombies where zombies are a threat are cleared of zombies, and you never see a zombie again. Um, on the flip side of that, on the flip side of that, one of the things that we have talked about in the past was how cool it is that whenever you go into an area, you kind of clear the area of zombies, and the zombies aren't really an issue in that area anymore. What are your thoughts on this new simple zombie respawn mechanic that they've implemented?
I think the whole zombie thing right now is it's kind of funny. Like uh, during the days of the mod, like when you were flying around in a helicopter or like traveling around in your car, like you could quite easily tell like if you were going straight through a city and you've seen a bunch of zombies, you would know that there were players in the area.
Right,
But now it's completely reversed. Like if you're traveling through a city now and you see a whole bunch of zombies in an area, you know that you can pretty much assume that there's been no one there for a while.
right,
Like
right,
no one has been there to kill the zombies, so it's more than likely that the buildings and all the other loot areas in the area are all good for looting. So it's like it's kind of completely reversed itself, which is kind of interesting.
right, right.
So uh, respawns for zombies are a welcome addition, desperately needed, and they should help keep things good.
Okay, cool. Um, Another thing I'm seeing here on the patch notes that we should probably talk about. You're not going to be able to vault any longer with broken legs, which is something you could do before. Doesn't make
That
any
makes
sense.
sense.
Um, so that's something kind of nice, unless you have broken legs and are trying to commit suicide. um, Chance, a melee damage application system change for better balance. So maybe we'll see a bit more balancing as far as the melee damage. Chance of bleeding from fists reduced significantly. That's always good.
Yeah,
And one thing we did talk about previously was zombie aims, mostly for the chest area now when attacking. Uh, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I
So
think that's a good addition. Zombies hitting you in the face and then instantly becoming unconscious or just straight out dying, like that was a real piss take.
yeah, yeah.
People were pissed off about that, so uh, I think that's a good change.
I think the last thing I want to mention from the experimental from the next patch is can openers can now be used as a melee weapon.
Yeah,
So um, you're dangerous even if you only have a can opener in this game. Um, I think that's all. I think that's all I really
yeah.
wanted to hit on as far as the anything else that you want to talk about as far as the next patch.
Quickly, I'll mention some of the new stuff that came. It was actually yesterday, so in the updated patch notes. So, ballistic helmets can now be painted with the spray cans, black or green, which is a nice addition, I think.
Yeah,
Ballistic helmets were kind of a stable addition to the loot in DayZ. Everyone loves a ballistic helmet, so if you can paint it black and it makes you look cooler with your black gear,
right,
or obviously they were already green, so
right.
I don't know how the green spray paint is gonna be handled. Maybe it's a different shade of green, or maybe the black and green together make camouflage. I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but
We have like the UN helmets that are blue,
yeah,
so it'll be nice to be able to paint one of those
yeah.
green or
The
black.
I'm pretty sure the UN helmets have been introduced in this patch as well.
Right.
I think they're here somewhere in these patch notes.
Yeah.
Very,
Um.
very quickly, I think we should mention that the headgear, so ballistic helmets, motorcycle helmets, construction helmets, and the new pilot helmets that were introduced in the last patch can no longer be combined with the face masks. So no more gas mask, ballistic helmet combo, which is a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah.
They looked badass together. They looked really cool.
You. I mean, yeah. Um. You could. I mean, if you found a ballistic helmet, though, you should be able to put on a gas mask.
Yeah, you would think that those two items could be worn together, but uh, I guess going into the depths of the game, like if gas masks do eventually have an
A
actual
use.
function, like yeah, like protect you from poisonous gas, you will have to make a choice whether you want to protect your head from bullets or protect your body from gas. So
Right.
I guess that's a good thing.
I think that may be something that if someone were like, wait, you can wear a gas mask and a helmet at the same time, like a ballistic helmet. So I think
Yeah.
they would just go, oh yeah, we should probably make an exception for that helmet. But
Mm.
we'll see how that develops. Also, actually, I was reading this as you were talking, and we haven't even talked about you're now able to have a freaking heart attack. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure, or I don't think anyone is sure at the moment, for the exception of the dev team, on how that comes into play. Whether if you're running too much without taking breaks, or um, those kind of things. That's pretty cool. Not sure how that'll happen, or maybe if it's just a percent chance. But that's pretty cool. You can also check players' pulse, and you know, um, you can use that I guess the defib to get stuff going again if they have a heart attack. So pretty interesting. Looking forward to those things and seeing how they come into fruition. Anything else?
Uh, I think that's covered most of the big stuff in this experimental patch.
Yeah. Um, let's move on into the dev blog. Dev blog just went out on the 24th of February. Um, oh, and by the way, if you wanted to look at the patch notes, of course, those can be found on the DayZ forum, but you can also find them at dayzintel.com. All the patch notes are there. He does the wonderful Jamie does keep them updated whenever they get updated from the dev team. So check that out. But the dev blog came out on the 24th. lot of cool stuff coming up. Pretty excited about it. We'll see where it goes. What were your initial thoughts on the devlog?
Uh, I was quite, to be honest, when I first seen it, I was quite taken aback by the whole thing. Just simply because it had been a while since we've had a devlog. It's been quite a few months,
Right.
pre-launch even. So I was quite taken aback. I wasn't really expecting it, but um, we see some really cool stuff, like stuff that's been worked on that no that none of the dev team have really mentioned.
Right.
Uh, there's been no hints, tweets. There's been nothing really about it. So some of the stuff in there is really cool.
Um, and we could just go down. We can go down the list and just talk about it.
Sure.
I think the thing that most people are, I think there, to me, the two big bullet points on this were physics and persistent storage. But there's some stuff in between that really is also equally important and exciting as well. But physics, one of the things that you said here on the article is it seems like they've taken a major leap forward in regard to engine physics.
Yeah.
Um, and it really does. It looks like they've kind of set down the foundation on how they're going to want it to work and how it is going to work. Um, the devlog does show how some of that stuff works. Pretty excited about it. It looks really good. I think. I mean, it could always look better, but I think it looks pretty good. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I was as soon as Rocket started throwing around items, like I was pretty hyped. Uh, I didn't expect to see it like throwing an axe, throwing an axe and then throwing a box of cereal, and seeing the differences in the way they flew through the air and the way that they interacted with the walls and stuff like that. Like
Right,
I thought that was it's pretty exciting. Like it just shows that they're really trying to do this properly
right.
rather than just rushing it into the game. So
Yep.
uh, it opens up the game for just so much, so much more stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that I'll be honest, whenever they first said we are going to introduce physics into the Arma engine, I was like, oh god, like this is going to go so wrong on so many ways. In so many ways, it could go wrong. But this has definitely, watching the devlog and seeing him throw items around, I've never been more hopeful in the regards of physics in an Arma 2 engine than I am now. So, um, super excited. I, there's so many things that are now, I guess, possible now with this, with physics being implemented. So, um, interested. It's gonna take some time for them to tweak it. So, if some of you guys are watching and seeing it like, you're watching an item fall and it falls really slow or unnaturally. It's gonna take some time for them to get all that ironed out. So, but I look forward to seeing them take those steps.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I think the gates that physics really opens would be like obviously ragdoll physics, like physics for bodies. That's going to follow on naturally from this sort of stuff.
right.
So, which is going to be a massive improvement. Like the the kind of movement of bodies right now in DayZ and Arma is it just feels unnatural. So that's going to be a massive help. But I think the big things just just even throwing weapons, like being able to throw an axe at someone's head and landing a headshot like that that is going to be crazy. Like
Yep.
I can see so many YouTube videos like perfect fire axe throw, just
Right.
right over the head, just
Yeah.
straight into someone's face. I mean, that's just going to be awesome.
Yep. I completely agree. You see a bunch of YouTube videos for, like Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever, they do like a knife swipe that's really good, or they throw a knife in Call of Duty or something like that, and it just lands just perfectly or something, and it's always kind of neat to see that. So, um, I'm looking forward to that. We'll see how that develops. But that kind of leads us into what one of the other major points was, which was the bow and arrow. What were your initial thoughts on the bow and arrow?
I was I was really quite happy to see the bow and arrow finally implemented, and it looks like it's been implemented pretty well. Uh, the the way it's been done, like it looks as if it's really simple. Like so, most likely it's made from maybe some logs, a knife or an axe to carve the logs, and
Right.
then a string which is maybe made from rope or rags or whatever. But and it's a really simple bow and arrow, but it looks like it works really well. Uh, being able to fire your arrows, pick them back up, pull them out of zombies, players, pull even just pulling them out of the ground, and it's just it's gonna be really nice.
Yeah. I'm uh I'm looking forward to it. I think this arrow, this bow and the bow at least that you see in the game actually says PVC arrow, so you'd be able to take some of that plastic tubing that you see in plumbing stores and stuff like that, put it together to make a PVC arrow. So that'll be kind of cool. Looks like you're going to be able to have to make different types of arrow bows and arrows. So looking forward to that. It might be cool to have um, have a guy in a squad that's got a silent weapon ready to take care of that zombie, or to take care of a squad member of an opposing squad that you don't want to alert the rest of the squad to. So um, I am nothing but excited. But this also means that you could, and this kind of a nice segue, you can hunt in the forest without giving away your position, and without using rare types of ammo. So hunting is something that is also hopefully going to be implemented very quick, very or pretty quickly. We already have a portable gas cooker and cooking pot and all these kind of cooking utensils. So it's going to be interesting to see when they're able to implement hunting and in a in an experimental server. I'm looking forward to it. What are your thoughts on the hunting?
Hunting, another massive step, I think, for the standalone. It's like I think every single player of the standalone has been in a position where they're running from town to town on a busy server. All the all the houses, all the loot spawns, they're all empty. There's no cans, there's no tins, there's no food. You're desperately trying to keep yourself alive. Your screen is going blurrier and blurrier by the minute. You're extremely hungry, and there's just nothing to eat. So I think the hunting thing is just it's just going to be massive. Like it's gonna provide a whole other it's just a whole other aspect of the game.
Yeah, I've got the good old devlog up, and you can kind of see on the video. You can see him. He's stalking an animal, and he's got the Mosin Nagat. So looking forward to that. I think though that this is something I will say that they've talked about it in Q and A's, but they haven't really discussed campfires that much, and I don't understand why they're having so much difficulty with implementing a campfire. It seems like it was an easy enough thing to do in the mod. Uh, I would like to know why they're having so much difficulty with it, because they keep one of the things that they have said is that it's a complicated issue, or a complicated thing that they're trying to do with it. So maybe they're trying to implement a lot of crafting into it. Not really sure. Uh,
I
but
agree. I'm not exactly sure what the issue is with just adding in the fires from the mods, but maybe it's more complex than than we know. So
Right.
I'm cool with it. I can wait. I'm happy waiting.
Yeah. You can also see on the dev blog, he's using the portable gas stover, the portable gas stove. He lit it. Fire looked pretty cool. It was pretty. The first time I saw that lit, I was like, oh, dude, that's pretty cool. Cool blue flame there. You just put the pan on top of the portable stove, and then I believe you just drop in whatever your ingredients are for the food into the pot. So pretty cool there, or into the pan, I should say. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. Really looking forward to that. Still a little
What
bit buggy as you can see on the video there, but they're working on it. So
I think one of the reasons that I'm so excited for cooking in DayZ Standalone is that Rocket and I guess the rest of the dev team are taking a big inspiration from Project Zomboid,
hmm
which is a game that I've played quite a lot. Uh, if any of you have played it, you probably know that there are an absolute ton of different cooking recipes to cook yourself while you're held up in someone's house. So
yeah,
uh, I'm really I'm really quite excited for you know a dozen different soup recipes or being able to cook yourself pancakes or
right,
stupid stuff like that. But the thing is, like these different recipes can have, as well as like settling your stomach and your thirst, like they could essentially have other stuff like they could make you just generally feel better. Like they could make you feel less depressed, like they do in Project Zomboid. They
right.
decrease your depression level. They make you feel happier. They make you feel more comfortable. Just things like that. Like that's the things I think that I can really see creeping their way into DayZ
Yeah,
pretty soon.
yeah. Not just physical states or health states, but
Yeah,
mental
mental
states.
states. Yeah,
And like a mental state might increase or decrease your aiming proficiency or
yeah.
things like that. So those are all things to keep in mind. Interesting thoughts. And lastly, persistent storage. Um, Everybody has been just basically just like screaming, "Where are our tents? We need tents. Why can't we have tents?" And I think they're coming to that fairly quickly. I'm I'm excited for any kind of persistent storage, even if it's not exactly tents. uh,
Me too.
what are your thoughts?
I'm looking forward to it. In the mod, one of the big things in the mod was, I guess it was kind of an end game thing where you could gear up, but then you could gear your tent up to make sure that if you died or if something went wrong, you could always get back to your tent and re-gear from the stuff that you had collected previously. And I think that's just a really good idea. So uh, even I know Rocket has said that the plan is to start off with backpacks, so there won't be tents straight away. It'll be persistent backpacks. You'll be able to fill a backpack with gear, food, weapons, ammunition, drop it somewhere around Chenris, in the woods, wherever. A nice position that isn't going to get looted by anyone
Right.
that's passing by, and you'll be able to come back to that backpack specifically on that server whenever you want. And I think it's gonna really help sort of end game
Right.
DayZ as it is right now.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I like it. I like the ability to just drop off some ammo. I think that's one of the things that I think we're gonna find as the game progresses, that weapons are rare, but maybe even ammo can be even more rare. So um, I like the idea of storing my ammunition and things like that. So excited for that. Hopefully we'll be able to hide. a backpack or a storage container or ammo crate rather than it just be sitting out in the forest, where anyone can see it really easily. We'll see. Um, Looking forward to that being implemented fairly soon. Um,
Yeah. I,
and
I, would- I would really like to see the auction. Shovels are already in the game, and they're currently an extremely bad melee weapon.
they're
So
useless.
if anyone finds a shovel, don't pick it up. It's crap.
Yeah.
But
Unless you don't have
hopefully,
anything, it's better than
yeah,
nothing.
I guess yeah,
But
it's better than nothing.
it looks cool. So you're like, oh, I have this little hatchet, or I've got this big old this really big shovel. I'll pick up the shovel. Don't do it.
Yep.
Don't do it. Keep a hatchet.
I would really like to see just like they introduced it in the mod. Like it was quite late on. Just in fact, it was just kind of before standalone was released.
Mm,
DayZ mods, I think it was 1.8, released the option to make little. You could use a shovel and you could make a little mound in the ground to store stuff in.
right.
So I would really like to see the ability to use a shovel to at least bury your containers or actually make a mound to store stuff in by itself. So
Yeah,
I think that could be really nice.
I agree. And unless you have anything else, I think the last thought that I had about the devlog was towards the end of the devlog, they addressed, I think, some community concerns, which was pretty interesting. To see that, you could even look at the devlog and you could see they put specific forum posts out there where you could see them, and I think they were addressing some of those issues. So definitely check out the devlog, as it probably may have some answers for some of the things that you're most concerned about. Um, so definitely go check that out. I won't play the whole thing here for you guys to see it because yeah, you need to go watch it. Go watch the devlog so you can see exactly what they're talking about here towards the end as far as community concerns. What were your thoughts as far as those things? Showing Reddit posts or showing forum posts? Shouldn't the zombies and their ability to go through walls and doors be fixed, or shouldn't it be a priority? Why are there no zombies in vehicles? Things like that. What were your thoughts?
I think everyone wants to see the zombies be drastically improved right now. Like nobody enjoys the zombies like climbing through walls, through floors. Uh, it's just ridiculous for a zombie game, a zombie survival game, to have zombies which are this bad. It's pretty bad. So everyone wants them to get better. I think we can all appreciate the fact that as this game is built on kind of Arma 2 take on helicopters engine,
Yeah.
it's just kind of inherited from that. So
Right.
they've got a lot of work to do, or a lot of work to put in to fix that sort of stuff, and it will get fixed. So it will be fixed eventually, but at the moment I'm happy with the amount of new content and new stuff that they're currently putting in, and
Right.
the work that they're putting in.
I think this is one of the things that we have talked about previously, just me and you, was that my hope is the reason why those big things haven't gotten fixed, as far as zombies walking through walls, some desync issues and things like that, um, is because those issues are more difficult to tackle. My hope is that ever since they decided to use the Arma 2 take on helicopters engine, that they've had someone working on those specific issues, but because they're difficult to tackle, and because zombies have basically, or the zombie AI is basically is being built from the ground up, that because it's a larger issue, that's just something that they're working on, but they haven't gotten to. But there is someone working on them. Unfortunately, they haven't really told us, yes, we have someone working on this, and we've had someone working on this for X amount of months, or X amount of days, or X amount of weeks. And I would love to have that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, I think that Rocket and his team is being pretty transparent. As far as but I really feel like to me, a zombie walking through a wall or a door is one of the most, if not the most, immersion like breaking experiences in the game.
I agree.
Like I understand that they can't necessarily have the zombie break down the door. Like that may not work. They may not be able to do that and implement that. Maybe that's gonna come later on. That would be really cool if they could do that. So now the only secret is well, if you close the door and the zombie can't walk through the door, well then how does the zombie get to you? Because the zombie would try to still get after you. I would rather the zombie just wait outside the door for me than
Walk
just
through it.
walk through it because it's
Yeah.
complete bullshit. I hate it. One of my biggest pet peeves. Any new player I introduce into the game that starts playing it, that's their first thing that they say is, "Why can zombies walk through walls, and why can zombies walk through doors?" So, as much as I really have a lot of respect and I'm really encouraged by what we've seen so far in standalone, please Rocket and the dev team, uh, please get this shit fixed. um, from one nerd to another, uh, please. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's my biggest pet peeve in the game, honestly. Um, aside from not being able to run up hills, which is probably never gonna get fixed, but I can handle that because running up a hill would slow down. So you know, some creative license there can be extended.
I agree.
But a zombie walking through a wall just can't happen.
So we need fixes for zombies walking through walls and doors. We need a fix for players walking up hills, and something else I'd really like fixed. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you're ever crouched or prone, lying in like the grass or bush or whatever, and you fire a bullet and it pings off like
Oh,
like a strain of grass
the
or like
bounding box
a
on the
flower
floor. Oh God, I hate
or
that.
that's one of the worst things as
I
well.
don't know
Like
how many times I've died to I've been inside of a barracks and gone prone and shot the floor a million times trying to shoot somebody who's coming into the barracks.
yeah.
Like Starry in the mod. I would like Starry, you run in to the barracks that's in Starry Sobor and the Arma 2 mod, like in Overwatch. You run in there and someone takes a pop shot at you while you're going in, so you got no other choice except to kind of hold up in there, get a better weapon, and hopefully catch them trying to come in to kill you or something like that. And then you end up shooting the floor. So um, that
Yeah.
I agree. You got that's something that needs to be fixed as well.
Yeah. I think that's three of the major issues, as well as plenty others.
Yeah.
I
Oh
wish.
yeah. Those are just like the rant of the day. I think is
Yeah,
those
cool.
things. But I do I with that kind of I guess sharp. I wouldn't even consider that sharp criticism, honestly. But it's with that criticism also comes like with a reminder that I have been hopeful so far, and what I have seen um, in in the game, what they've added to the game is making me hopeful for the future. That's one of the things I've been saying to my stream in particular and my viewers is that um, it's not there yet, but it has potential, and I'm seeing it move in a direction that is promising. So, um, my hope is that they don't have everybody working on a shotgun that can get hacksawed into a sawed-off shotgun. But that they have a couple of people working on new content, and they've got a couple of people working on big things that's got to get fixed, like zombies clipping through walls and shooting floors while prone. So that's my hope. The future will tell. Ball's in your court, dev team. But said I am hopeful. After saying that criticism, I am hopeful.
Agreed.
Um, let's really quickly. I want to be really quick with this. Let's hit the Q&A. There was a developer Q&A um, that has been really basically a gold mine in my opinion on the DayZ forums. Uh, it's just a summary of dev Q&As from various streams and things like that. I want to hit this really quick because we're running pretty pretty long here, but a lot of cool things here. They mentioned backpacks as a persistent storage device. They mentioned some other things. They mentioned damp clothes make you cold, lowers the body temperature, you use more energy, and it damages your equipment. They did say bows are still being worked on. Arrows will stick where they hit and will be recoverable. Zombie wall glitch is priority task together with performance. That's always good to know.
Yeah.
Um, a new gas lamp is being worked on. Um, they are going to start with bicycles as far as vehicles goes, which is great. Fucking love bicycles. One of my favorite things about some mods that were out there for the Arma 2 was the ability to just build my own bicycle and made things a lot easier. They may not go that far, but pretty interesting. Um, they're working on a prison. If anybody ever played the Arma 2 mod Aftermath, there was a fucking awesome prison in
Yeah.
that mod.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved going there. It was outside Vybor, I believe. Yeah, and it was just an awesome place to go loot. Fun place to go have some PvP in as well. Um, what were some things that kind of caught your eye as far as the dev blog stuff, or
The
it's the Q&A? Sorry.
yeah, the Q&A. Okay, so a couple of big things from Q&A. I would say the mention of dogs. Dogs very soon, apparently.
Hmm.
So we're gonna encounter dogs around Generous, and you're going to be able to tame them and have them follow you around. So that's going to be interesting. Something that wasn't largely done in the mods. I know it was implemented in Breaking Point. I think it was Breaking Point, but it wasn't done. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it was done very well in Breaking Point.
Right.
Um, so it'll be interesting to see how far they take that. Like, will you have to take care of your dog after claiming it? Really, will you have to feed it,
Right.
protect it, like um, fix it up if it gets damaged or shot or
Right.
hit with an axe or whatever. Will the dog be able to attack people? Or even attack other animals? Like,
Uh huh.
will it aid you in hunting? That'll be something quite interesting to see where they take that.
Right.
I guess that kind of leads on to a lot of the other hunting stuff, but as well as that, they've also mentioned that horses are a massive thing that they are hitting very soon.
Right. Right.
So horses are just going to be super cool. Like
Yeah.
uh, horses will be just something that we've never seen in any of the mods. Something unique to standalone. You'll be able to come across a horse, tame it, feed it, ride around on it, store your gear on it, protect it. Hopefully, they'll take it as far as you know. If your horse gets shot, you're gonna have to bandage it up just as you would bandage up yourself.
Right.
So you I can see this whole thing where people will get really, really attached
Right.
to the animals that they tame. So someone
Es-
gets really
Especially like I mean like I know like in Vanilla DayZ back in the day, the first vehicle I found, the first vehicle I repaired from a broken state, man, first time I lost that vehicle, logged in, it was gone. I was mad, I was frustrated, I was sad, all these different emotions because I had poured hours of gameplay into repairing this vehicle and getting the parts and defending it, you know. Um, so I predict that the horse will even be even more so because it is a companion of sorts. Be interesting to know if it follows you around, even if you're not riding it. That'll be something cool. The kind of you're not only concerned with the health of yourself, but also the health of your transportation, your health, your horse. So pretty interested to see how that develops. Pretty interested to see how they do that. They did say that it was something that was very complicated, but that's something that they would be implementing. So interested to see how that happens. Um,
I'm very excited for horses.
yeah, horses. When I read horses, I was like, holy crap, horses in the game. Um, pretty pretty interesting. Let me think. Base building fully intended to support some. Um,
Of course.
yeah, we knew that.
I think it's going to be a long time before we see any sort of base building or barricading
Right.
entering the game. It really will. I'm thinking if Rocket thinks if vehicles aren't going to be for another 6 months, then I don't see base building entering the game for another year at least.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Super excited for that. Potentially underground. Be
Yeah,
interested. Interesting to see how that works. Amputations or something that they're working on. Amputations are tabled for the time being, as they've got performance things that they need to be done as far as the ragdoll goes. But that'll be interesting to see. Just amputate a human arm, carry around a human arm, whack some people with it, throw that around. Um, Cannibalism, definitely want to put it in, but need to work on the consequences of cannibalism. So interesting. Axes take damage every time you hit something with them, but depending on what it takes, more or less damage depending on what you hit. So flesh, stone, other melee weapons, and hands of opponents and things like that. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah. I totally did not see this. Loot respawning will happen soon. Before things like loot percent per server population can be thought about. So basically, like some things need to happen before they can do that, but some percentages and some kind of conceptual things need to be done before that. But the more people on a server, the more loot spawns. So you're not going to be able to go to a server and just uh, basically gear up because it's a low pop server. More loot spawns with more people. So interesting note there. What other kind of things to wrap up the dev Q and A's would you
I,
would you like to
I
mention?
I didn't notice that point that you just point that you just mentioned, the
Yeah,
loot spawning on different pop servers. That's going to be really interesting because no longer will you be able to log into a 1 out of 40 server and just loot straight up uh, in any old town that's not got any players in it. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
yeah, absolutely. Super cool. Um, can't run up hills. Oh, I just saw it. Run up hills should maybe be possible.
Maybe.
Should maybe that I'm reading it verbatim. Run up hills should maybe be possible. Actually, a collision issue. So,
In other
well,
words, they don't give a shit.
and
We
they
might be able to do it,
we,
maybe not.
yeah, and we don't know why it's fucking happening. Maybe a collision issue. So, cool. Let's move on. Let's talk about
Sure.
some other things now. Reddit has got a cool survivor challenge going on right here. Going on. What?
Yeah.
Tell me about this survivor challenge.
Yeah, so Reddit just last week started the whole Survivor Challenge thing. Um, they're going to put out a new challenge every week, and they're running a leaderboard for anyone that takes part gets points. The winners get extra points, obviously.
Right.
The points get stuck into the leaderboard, and winners get uh, special rewards, I guess. So this week's challenge is to get as many people as possible onto the Santa platform or the Santa Tower in Cherno, I believe.
Hmm.
So as it stands right now, I think there's an image with 14 players all on the
Yeah.
all on
Yeah.
the platform. If you got that image, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I'm showing it now.
So the only rules are that every player has to have an item of food in their hands, and then someone has to take a picture or a video, and you post that image or video to the Reddit thread, and you'll be officially entered into the competition. So,
Cool.
winners in the competition will be given extra points, and they'll potentially be able to name other challenges in the coming weeks. So, uh, I thought that was just something something nice, just to keep people kind of ticking over well, there's
Right.
not a whole lot to do. Like, there's not a whole lot of end game content in DayZ right now, so I thought this was just something nice for the Reddit community to add to the game.
Yep. So go check out reddit.com/r/DayZ for that, as that will be the best place to figure that kind of thing out.
Yeah, we'll be just to note, we'll be following along on DayZ Intel as well. So if you keep up to date on your DayZ Intel news, you'll keep up to date on the Reddit challenges every week.
Good deal. Um, let's now one of the things we talked about in the before the show was it kind of, I guess it kind of hit the community pretty hard this week with the news that it's not new news per se, but news that Dean Hall Rocket will be leaving Bohemia Interactive, the company that makes Arma and DayZ, at the end of the year. Now, this is nothing actually really new. Apparently, he's been saying this for a while. Um, whenever I first saw the post on Reddit that this information was out, I was like, oh my god, like what the heck? You know, he can't even stay on the game long enough to finish it. And then I kind of went back and looked, and he has been. He had said previously that he was not going to be a part of Bohemia for an extended period of time. What was your initial reaction when you heard and subsequently what was your reaction after understanding that this is not really new news per se?
Uh, my first thoughts, I guess, when I first seen the article, I initially kind of panicked a little bit. Just kind of that was just that was just like a instinct. Just, oh my god, Rocket's leaving.
Right.
But then when you think about it, like, no one hangs around forever. Like, Rocket's been working on DayZ for the last how long? 3, 4 years maybe. He's
Right.
devoted an extremely long time to building this game, getting it to where it is, and just kind of pushing it to where it has to be. So I really, I mean, I'm kind of glad for the guy that he can push this game where it has to be, and just move on. Like, there's no reason why the game can't continue to where it has to go without Rocket on board.
Right. Yeah, I I agree with you. I, some people, some of my viewers in particular, whenever this kind of came out, were like, "Good, we're glad, we're tired of the guy," which I don't necessarily share that belief at all. but have been people in the community that were like, good, let somebody else be in charge of this. But I'll be honest, and I think that's a bit. I think that standpoint is a bit short-sighted because I feel like if you were to look at the development of Arma 3 and the development of DayZ, they're completely two different animals, and not just because they're different games. Like the same company will handle different games about the same way because that's their mo. You know that's how they handle the press. That's how they handle gamer interaction and community relations. So Arma 3 wasn't particularly handled all that well, in my opinion, as far as how they got feedback, how they enacted that feedback whenever it was in alpha or beta or whatever Arma 3 was in before full release. But I have felt like that Rocket has been listening to the community, has been very transparent about what they're doing, for the most part, what they're doing, what they're wanting to do, where the game is going, why different things have happened. Um, so I actually am not really looking forward to it. I think the longer we can kind of keep him attached to the game, I think the better the game will be. Um, I will say this though, this is this was my first instinctual thought whenever this announcement kind of, I guess, came up for air because it was already out there. Was that this gives a roadmap for people for mod developers, I think, because I think Rocket won't leave the game or the company until it's ready to go out to until they're really ready to have people mod for it. So I could be wrong. That's just my instinct. That he'll get it to a point where the core game is where he wants it to be, and that there's potential for modders to have some great tools with it, and that they'll release source code out there for modders, or release the tools out there for modders to make mods for the game, and that's when he'll leave. Um,
I agree.
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? Like, are you?
I think
I think, and I'll say this before I let you go. um, I'm actually more excited for the day whenever those source files get out to modders. I'm more excited for that time frame than I am for now. Even though the game is getting new content, what seems like every couple of weeks, and new things get implemented, which to me really is something really interesting to me. But I'm more excited for modders getting tools. What are your thoughts?
yeah. There's no doubt in saying that as soon as the files get released for mods, like standalone it will go through the whole thing that the DayZ mod went through. Like there's gonna be there's gonna be fucking DayZ standalone plus and
Right.
DayZ standalone origins and all the big mods that appeared during the mods time
Right.
are going to reappear during standalone's time, and it's only going to make things just 10 times better. Personally, I'm really looking forward to DayZ standalone uh, battle royale
Yep.
and DayZ standalone all the other good mods. So they're going to bring their own things to standalone, but I'm also thinking that Rocket's not going to leave until the core game is there. So he's not going to leave until vehicles are done. Like 100% vehicles are in the game and awesome and working perfectly. He's not going
Right.
to leave until cooking is in the game working perfectly. Uh, all the other big like hunting, all the other big elements, handmade, crafted weapons. Uh, just all that stuff is going to be that's all going to be finalized, done, tested. The game is going to largely be ready to release on the shelves,
Right.
and then the code I think will be released to modders and then from there, the game is going to evolve, and it's so many different branches that Rocket will be able to retire, on a beach in a hammock, with his feet up and a can of Pepsi.
Pipsy. Cool. So I think that was. I think we basically covered everything I care to say about that. It
Yeah,
was a big kind of thing that went through the community, but it really shouldn't have been as big of a deal as it really was. I think that was mostly just because, um, you know, most people just weren't listening when he said, "Yeah, I'd like to go back home someday and not work for Bohemia."
of course.
And you can find all that kind of stuff, all the information on past interviews where Rocket has said that he'd like to go back home and things like that. You can find all that on Reddit, reddit.com/r/DayZ. So go check that out. I think that's about it. Do you have any shout outs to kind of wrap up the show?
A couple of things I'd like to say before we wrap up. DayZ Intel have we've been working on some nice DayZ t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a really nice. I've got a very talented illustrator working on some very nice, unique DayZ t-shirt designs,
Uh-huh.
which we're going to be pushing out to our store very soon. So you'll be able to find them on store.dayzintel.com,
Mm-hmm.
which is already up, but obviously there's nothing to be bought.
Right.
So expect that within a couple of weeks. And one thing I would like to say is, as these podcasts or vodcasts or whatever you want to call them go forward, I'm just looking at your t-shirts on the thing. They look cool.
They do look cool.
Yeah.
Those shirts look really cool. I
They do,
can't wait to
yeah.
get my hands on one. I think what was it? You're looking at probably another month
Yeah,
minimum.
well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they're going to be available soon.
Okay.
Worldwide delivery. I'm very excited for that. Something else going into the future with this podcast or podcast or whatever. We're looking to pick up guests.
Yes.
So if you are out there in the DayZ community, either a YouTube content creator or streamer, or you run a website, or you run a mod, or you have a big kind of following out there, we would love to get you on the show and kind of have a just have you involved in the whole thing, start to finish. So
Yes.
um,
You could
in
be
the
the person directly below us.
yeah, yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah. You'd be the person right below us. So if you are a streamer or a content creator or somebody who's kind of an established community member in DayZ, we would love to have you as a guest. You can contact either me or Jamie. You can find Jamie. The easiest way, I think the easiest way to contact us is just through Twitter. You can
Yeah.
contact Jamie at DayZ Intel, and you can contact me at drumsetjunky. So, please reach out to us if this is something that you'd be interested in.
Yep, sure. Going forward with the kind of whole podcast thing. Eventually, there'll be a whole section on DayZ Intel where you can apply to be a guest on the show, or you can send in your questions, your thoughts, your feedback, comments, all that sort of stuff, and we will take them all into consideration and discuss them on show, live on air. We'll give you shout outs,
Absolutely.
all that sort of stuff, all the good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else? You can find
Nope.
Jamie, of course, on Twitter, twitter.com/DayZintel. Go hit that follow button on Twitter, as you'll get all kinds of lovely weekly information on what's going on in the world of DayZ. And thank you, Jamie, for being on the show. I really appreciate it. My lovely co-host. Same thing goes for me. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/drumsetjunky. That's the best place to know what's going on with me when I go live, when I do giveaways, all kinds of other things like that. the future of the show, we are looking at getting up hosts, other co-hosts, just like Jamie said. We're looking at doing giveaways. Hopefully, I can wrestle some of those really freaking awesome DayZ Intel shirts away from Jamie, and maybe we'll give them away live on air.
Yeah.
We'll see. Some other things like that. Maybe we'll give away some copies of Standalone and things like that. So if you really enjoyed the show, I am very happy. I know, Jamie, you are as well, right?
Yep.
Yep. And please send us some feedback. You can send it to me in a Twitch PM. You can find my Twitch, which is Twitch TV /drumsetjunky. And or you can send it to us on Twitter. However way you would like. We'd love to hear your feedback on what you liked, what you didn't like, what you think should be better, and etc. etc. So thank you for watching. And of course, if you would like to watch more of these live, you can go follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/drumsetjunky. And of course, you can watch these on YouTube, youtube.com/drumsetjunky. Any last words, Sir Jamie of DayZ Intel?
One last thing. Very soon, you'll be able to catch these podcasts audio format. So you'll be able to download them to your whichever pod catcher of choice on your mobile phone or whatever, and listen to them on the train, on the bus, fucking wherever, in Tesco. So there you go.
Yep. So we're also looking at making this into a bit more of a podcast rather than just a vodcast. So cool. Exciting things coming up for the show. Exciting things coming up for DayZ. Thank you for being on the show one more time, Jamie. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you on the flip side. And thank you for watching Dead Air.